쳇바퀴 같은 여긴
Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first guide for Eternal Return Black Survival. And today we're going to be going over Weapon Mastery level. And why is it important, what it means for you, and understanding that it gives you a huge advantage later in the game. So we're just going to go into one of the characters and we're going to select Yuki. Because I personally have played Yuki quite a bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about him and his weapon mastery level. So if you click on info, you can see here where I'm highlighting with my mouse cursor, there's a weapon mastery for the two-handed sword. So I primarily use two-handed swords, so this is what I'm going to be going over. So if you notice here, it says mastery level selection level 1. So it goes all the way up to level 20. And this is in every game. The mastery level is capped at level 20. And one thing that you should remember is weapon mastery level is totally different than your in-game level. Like when you level up normally, right? So let's say you're level 6, but your weapon mastery level is actually like level 3. Okay, so your weapon mastery level is different than your actual level in game. So now what is the biggest difference, right? So if we understand that each character has a different set increase per level, right? So it's not the same all across the board. But as far as Yuki, the increase is the same every single level for Yuki. So for example, at level 1, it's 3.3% attack speed increase, 5% extra damage to normal attacks with his two-handed swords equipped, and 1.5% skill damage increase. So this is the standard increase per level up to level 20. So every level, so at level 2, it's increased by 3.3%. The extra damage is increased by 5. And the skill damage increased by 1.5%. And that increases every level. Now, level 7 is actually special. Why is level 7 mastery special? Because you actually, in the skills, you actually unlock the specified weapon skill mastery. So at level 7, you can level up their D skill. You can always change the hotkey for it. Just the current one is D by default. Right. So for two-handed, the weapon skill is parry. So it's a pretty huge advantage to have weapon level 7 mastery before anyone else. So if you're able to get to level 7 mastery, quickly press tab if you're able to, and try to see what weapon level mastery someone is before actually engaging onto another player. Now let's say you get to level 7 and your game starts to progress even more, but you notice yourself stuck at level 7, and then you press tab and you notice another player that has a higher level advantage. Let's say you're playing against another Yuki player. Let's say perhaps that they are actually level 10. And you notice that both you and the enemy Yuki player actually have the same build. So all the weapon is the same. Both your inventory equipment is the same. The only difference is that your weapon mastery level is level 7 and theirs is level 10. So let me show you what the difference actually is. So at level 7, our attack speed increases 23.1, 35% for extra damage to normal attacks, and 10.5% skill damage increase. Now let's say we are encountering the level 10 Yuki player. This is what percentage they have. They have a 33% attack speed increase, 50% extra damage to normal attacks, and a 15% skill damage increase. So if we start from the very top with the attack speed increase, that's already a little bit above 10% attack speed difference between the two players. And then if we move on to the extra damage normal attacks, the difference is 15%. So at level 7, it's at 35%, whereas level 10, it's at 50%. And then we get to the very last one, where skill damage increase. It's about a 5% skill damage increase difference between level 7 and level 10. So going at it, between both players, a level 10 Yuki player will have the advantage and should essentially outduel the level 7 Yuki player. Now, one other important thing to remember is you're going to be able to level up your weapon skill at least up to 2 times. So once at level 7 and a second time at level 14. So these are the 2 pivotal moments for your weapon mastery. Now, the stats do change when you do level your skill to level 2, and it varies per skill. Alright, now that we know the difference between your standard level and weapon mastery, we're going to first start off by pressing V, or you can press the button down here, and this will bring up your mastery page. So as you can see, I am currently level 6, and my weapon mastery is level 3. And all you have to do is hover your mouse cursor over it, and you can see how you're able to increase your mastery level. In order to level up your weapon mastery, you can gain EXP by doing the following listed below. 1. Deal 100 damage to a player, and that gives you 63 EXP every single time. 2. Deal 100 damage to wild animals. You gain 5 EXP every single time you do that. 3rd, killing players, and that gives you 200 EXP every time. 4th, crafting weapon, and this gives you a range of 100 to about 1,000 EXP every time. The reason why craft EXP is in a range is due to you either crafting green, blue, purple, or gold weapons. Now, right now, we're at 80 EXP out of 580 needed for level 4. Now, let's kill this bear, and we'll notice we're going to gain EXP for our weapon mastery. Alright, so we killed the bear. Now let's look at what we have. As you can see, we are now at 485 out of 580 EXP. And that is how you're able to level your weapon mastery. So remember to continue to hunt so that way you don't fall behind late game. And one last thing before we go. If you notice your character is able to use multiple types of weapons, it is totally different. So if your character can wield dual swords like Yuki, you have to separately level each up, right? And let's say your two-handed sword is level 7, but your dual sword is still level 1. If you change out your two-handed sword for a dual sword that's level 1, you will not be able to use the D skill because the dual sword is only level 1, whereas your two-handed sword is level 7. So again, be aware if you're wanting to experiment that way and you're like, oh, this character can use a different weapon, just understand that it's not going to be the same as your current weapon.